Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I really didn't plan to do this today. It's something I've been rumbling around in my brain for a while because one, I need an excuse half the time to listen to new music anyway. I think as we all age, we tend to get into little ruts of like what we want to consume if we want to consume it anymore. And we just listen to the same shit over and over again. But I've always been one that I love to listen to albums, and I'm always open to hearing a bunch of new shit. And on the channel here, I don't always want to sit and like have to sit and play like video games all the time because that's not like all I am in life. And I was conflicted as to whether or not I even wanted to do this. I do watch a lot of reactionary content when it comes to music. Because I find some of it interesting. A lot of it I find kind of like self-serving and obnoxious in a way where a lot of people tend to, it's just like, people just, oh my God. Yeah, it's a whole thing where a while back my bud Mark the Movie Man, who frequents the stream every once in a while. Hey, Cariosa, welcome in. I teased him for a while because he started doing. You remember that trend a while ago where people would sit, and maybe we kind of consumed this a little bit with Tony Yo Man, where people will sit and review food that they get. Like, say they go to the Burger King and they get a fucking Whopper and they sit and like eat it and review the damn thing. Like, yeah, it tastes like a fucking Whopper. I was teasing him because he started doing that with drinks where like he's like, taste orange. Sit in their car eating, right? So I'm like, I think we all have a love-hate, relationship with reactionary content. And today, of any of the days, I kind of felt inclined to sit and listen through the new Sepultura EP, which is only 4 songs. It's not super long. If I'm looking at it right now, it looks like it's only 14 minutes, maybe 15 minutes in length. 16 minutes and 29 seconds, according to Wikipedia here that we're looking at. 4 songs. And this is supposedly the final album that they're going to be doing. This is the end of Sepultura, and I've been a Sepultura fan since early 90s. I would say probably like when did Beneath the Remains come out? Because that's kind of where I started listening to them. When did Beneath the Remains come out? 89. Okay. I don't think that's accurate. I think that's the first album I heard. But I don't think in 89, man, I was still listening to a lot of hair metal. I hadn't really transitioned over to the death metal stuff yet. But I would say probably more around when Chaos AD or Arise came out. 93 is Chaos AD. When did Arise come out? I would say 91 is probably when I started listening to them, because I definitely remember the first album I had listened to was Beneath the Remains. And then Arise, Chaos AD, and Roots. And then, obviously, once the Cavalera brothers were no longer a part of the band, I dropped off for a long period of time with these guys. But the last 2 albums, which made me go back and reassess a lot of this mid-era stuff once Derek Green took over for vocals and Andreas Kisser kind of was like the heart and soul of the band from the point that the Cavalera brothers left. The last 2 records were really fucking good. They were really fucking good. So if you guys have never heard, and you're, those sticklers, none of you are probably Sepultura fans, I'm guessing. But I'm an old school Sepultura fan, and I'm really excited to hear this new album because the last 2 albums, Quadra, which was a double album, and Machine, what is it called? Machine Messiah. Machine Messiah is such a good record. Such a good record. If you haven't heard it, and don't know anything about Sepultura, they're a band from Brazil, and they are part of that first wave, or maybe second wave of death metal that came out in the late 80s, early 90s, and they're one of the seminal bands. And slowly, they kind of intermixed Brazilian, like, native music into heavy metal, and then kind of alongside Korn and some of the other bands kind of created like groove new metal a little bit once their albums Chaos AD and Roots for sure. I'm sure most of you have heard Roots before. There's a lot of pretty famous music off of this that came out in 96, and this was a really big album. But after this, they broke up. Because the two founding members, who are brothers, Max Cavalera and Igor Cavalera, they kind of... Max started Soulfly, which then became its own fucking thing. And there's been a battle because the guitarist, Andreas Kisser, kept going on with the Sepultura name with a whole entirely new band. Which a lot of diehards are just like, fuck that band, that isn't Sepultura. Sepultura are the Cavalera brothers. But honestly, I've really liked almost all of their music. There's a couple albums in this mid-period, which started with like Against, and then go through to the present day. There's a few albums, like I had said, that are just really fucking solid. And I think to dismiss them outright because the old school sound of Sepultura doesn't really live in that band anymore, you're doing yourself a disservice as a metal fan, really, in my opinion. So today, we're going to listen to the 4-song EP. And welcome in, War Panda. Good to see you, dude. Good morning. If you're not familiar with Sepultura, as you could guess from my little spiel there, Sepultura, a Brazilian metal band, have influences of native Brazilian music mixed in with black metal, or not black metal, death metal. Welcome in, Saint. Good to see you. How you doing? You remember Sepultura and Soulfly? Sepultura, like I had said before, once the Cavalera brothers split from them, became a totally different sounding band. And I mean, I guess you could kind of fight that a little bit, because Andreas Kisser definitely had influence on all the albums that he was on, which I believe started with Beneath the Remains, I think is his first album. I could be wrong on that. I don't think he was on Schizophrenia. He definitely wasn't on the first album. But the band became more of kind of like a proggy, melodic death metal band, where the earlier Cavalera Brothers Sepultura was way more rhythm-based. Like, it was a lot of chunky riffs. If you've never heard that early stuff from the 90s, the 80s and 90s, some of the greatest metal music you'll ever hear in your whole life. For real. Sepultura has always been one of my top, like, 5 metal bands. I just love these guys to fucking death. So, anyways, the band became way more proggy once the Cavalera brothers were out of it, which has been interesting to kind of watch and listen to. If anything, I can say that I haven't already said, definitely check out the last 2 albums that they put out, Quadra and, God, I keep forgetting, Machine Messiah. Machine Messiah gets a high recommendation for me. That is such a fucking solid record. But obviously, if you really want to hear Sepultura, you want to hear those Cavalera records. They're some of the best fucking, heavy metal music you'll ever hear in your entire life. Anyways, we're going to get to it. I'm going to try and not break this up all the time and talk through this, because I like to, hear the music and kind of chill. This is new to me. I've never done, hanging out reactionary content to new music I'm actually excited for. And today we're going to listen to Sepultura, the Cloud of Unknowing EP, which is their final supposedly final piece of like recorded media that they're going to put out, their final album EP that they're going to put out. We'll see if after this point the Cavalera brothers can get the name Sepultura back and start releasing Sepultura music again. We'll see. I don't know. This is an interesting time right now, this moment we're about to experience. So, okay, so this is the first song of 4 songs on this EP. And let me I want to bring this up just so I have reference to it. Okay, we have 4 songs: All Souls Rising, Beyond the Dream, which I've actually already heard because they had dropped a single of this probably like a month and a half ago. Sacred Books, and The Place. Totaling 16 minutes and 29 seconds, The Cloud of Unknowing. Let's fucking get to it, guys. This is the first song. My lights are flickering weirdly, so if I disappear, you know why? All right, sounds good. All right, so Saint Just, are you a Sepultura fan? Welcome in. It's good to hear you're doing well. Aliens? Aliens, man. Not saying aliens, but aliens. No, I actually haven't heard a lot of metal lately, but you're curious. All right, well, good. Welcome in. I mean, I don't know if this is going to sell you, but this is Sepultura. I love these fucking guys. Let's get to it. All Souls Rising. Let's do this. Man, they're coming out of the gate fucking just pummeling you in the face with this shit. God damn, this is good. Okay, this sounds very much like the last albums. Yeah, that breakdown right there is so reminiscent of the last couple albums that have become like more orchestral, more cinematic, more proggy than what Sepultura. I mean, Sepultura always kind of dabbled in dynamics. There was always really heavy shit, and then there was usually more acoustic-y type stuff. And as they went into their middle era, which became more Brazilian native music mixed in, it became a little more drum based and groove based. That was just it was surprising, but at the same time not surprising, because they did a lot of that in the last couple albums. That fucking chorus, man. That fucking chorus is tough. The guitar solo classic, Andreas Kisser. Classic stuff. Super technical, super all over the place. Let's rewind it back a little bit. I gotta hear the intro to that chorus again. Oh, did you hear that? Okay, that's classic Sepultura right there. a groove. All right, I want to stop right there for a second. That section that we just heard, that is as classic fucking Sepultura as it gets. Just there's this underlying groove, and the riff is pretty simple, but it just kind of all this kind of goes hard. Man, are you familiar, Warpanda? I'd be surprised if you don't know Sepultura at all. You remember Sepultura and Soulfly, but did you really listen to them very much back in the day? I've never been a big Soulfly fan. I just think it's a little too simplistic, and I thought, like, the lyrics are just terrible, just awful shit. So I never was a huge Soulfly fan, and it kind of crushed me because I was such a huge Sepultura fan. But, is what it is. I like Roots, the album Roots, but it also isn't, like, my favorite kind of Sepultura stuff. But yeah, this goes pretty hard. You heard Sepultura back in the day? Yeah, everybody that's a metal fan has heard fucking Territory, right? Never deep dived? You should, brother. You should. But yeah, that last section there, and we'll rewind it a little bit. It was that was some classic fucking Sepultura riffage for sure. And it sounds like we're about to get into some other weird shit here too. So let's go back a little bit. Listen to those dueling harmonies. Oh, that bass is nasty. Do you hear? Oh, that was it. Did you hear the synth that was underneath that riff? I heard it a little bit in that one chorus where on the back end of the chunk there was some kind of like orchestral synth going on. And the same thing was happening there. Take a listen to this again. Damn, that was fucking hot. That was really good. They came out fucking hard. Little synth viola, yeah, I loved it. So good. That's what, that's what to me separates Sepultura from a lot of bands, is that they're just like, they're trying a lot of weird shit all the time. It's never just the same thing. So I kind of dig it. And especially this version of Sepultura doesn't rest on just like the same thing over and over and over again, which arguably the Cavalera brothers have kind of just like done the same thing forever. Which that same thing is fucking awesome, but at the same time, they haven't really branched out or expanded what they've done. And I know a lot of diehards would fucking jump down my throat, but at the same time, it's like this version of Sepultura is at least trying new things. You know? Get fucked, bot. Thank you, Karios. I appreciate that. So let's get to the next song, which I've heard before, but I don't remember it. It's been months, maybe like a month or two since I heard it. And I forget what it was called. We're not going to look it up. It'll pop up. Wait, this isn't the song. It's popping me some... Hold on. What's this doing? Beyond the Dream. They got this all mixed up on YouTube's. I apologize, guys. Maybe you are, metaphorically. Boy, this is a different vibe, isn't it? It almost has like classic Metallica sound to it, doesn't it? Like Master of Puppets, Ride the Lightning era. I forgot about this. I forgot about the clean vocals. Oh my God, I totally forgot about this. There's a few things before he's crooning. Yeah, there's a few things. Oh, that's right. Okay, so we're going to start this one over again. I really liked this so far. I totally forgot about this song. So this singer, Derek Green, he's done some clean vocals on some of the other Sepultura albums, but this is like straight up crooning. Metallica meets Crash Test Dummies. Poppy, you nailed it, Poppy. That's exactly what this is. There's another note that you need to go into this knowing, is that the drummer is a new drummer, Grayson Nekrutman. If you guys aren't familiar with this guy, I believe he was a YouTuber, I think. And he's like this jazz musician that became really big online. And then he's mostly straight up jazz. That's his background for the most part. And then he got the nod for the Sepultura a few years ago. And this is the first recording of him on there. And I got to tell you, he's killing it. If you've seen him on other stuff, he's just like this really young dude. And that's a terrible picture of him. He's this super young dude that looks like just happy and so out of place for Sepultura. Like he's been on some, here, let me see here. This is him playing that song, I believe from Whiplash. Oh, this is definitely not that song. That's Suicidal Tendencies. He's a really good drummer. Super young. Especially compared to fucking Sepultura, who's all in their 50s at this point. Here we go. Here's him doing Caravan. Which... I think this is off of his YouTube page here. But he also did it with Drumeo. And I know I've listened to this before. So you get the idea. He's mostly a jazz drummer. And then he got the nod for Sepultura. Which was, like, when I heard this, I'm like, are you kidding me? Here, let me see. Here's a video of him playing with Sepultura, Refuse Resist, which is off of their. Here we go. Look at that crowd. So it was such a shock, and this is the only recording of him with Sepultura as a creative entity. So that's a very interesting, very, very interesting inclusion into this band that's gone through so many iterations at this point. So let's start this one over again and get to Grayson and Derek Green crooning. Beyond the Dream is this one. Yeah, you can't deny this sounds like fucking early Metallica for sure. Now, all I hear is fucking Crash Test Dummies now that Poppy said that. Fucking A, Poppy.
Bleeding, I would feel the nightfall. The future was never so clear.
Yeah, he does have a little Mike Patton in there, too. I mean, you know how Mike Patton loves to do that super low crooner voice, you know? So I could see where you're coming from with that a little bit.
Pushing for beyond the dream. Forced to face our own reality. Believed in what we did and said.
More synth.
The future is not already. Leave it all behind. You begin again. There's no expectation. Leave it all behind. You begin again.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. There is some Queensryche going on in there. This is much more of like radio-friendly metal than Sepultura has really kind of explored in the past, which is a little surprising to me. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Disturbed or Seven Dust or, you know, bands like that in that era, in which has now exploded into a litany of a million bands that I have no idea about that all kind of sound like this. So this is like, to me, it doesn't sound like Sepultura to me, but also when we're listening to things, we shouldn't hold so tight when an artist is trying to expand, you know, let them do what they want to do. It's still them, but from the history that I've been listening to these guys, like I said, since the early 90s, this is different. This is definitely different. Don't know metal well enough to engage in this convo, but it sounds nice and I'm enjoying it. Cool. Seven Dust never got into them. I had friends that loved that. Same. Like, I think the guy is an amazing, like, the Seven Dust singer is so good, but just the music never caught me. Let's go back a little bit.
Leave it all behind. You begin again.
if you need a slow dance song for groping, Sepultura is not the place to look for that. That's for sure.
Leave it all behind to begin again.
I agree, War Panda. Cariosa, I'm going to address that once we get done. I don't want to go down a side tangent on whatever the fuck you're talking about is. Let's go back to the beginning of that solo. This is so different. That solo was so tasteful, man. So tasteful, so melodic. This is more classic metal. Like, I agree. This is kind of a mixture of like Metallica and Queensryche at this point, the way that it sounds to me. Cool song. Really cool song. What are you guys' thoughts on that one? I suppose after every one of these, I want to hear your guys' thoughts as well. Sonically, kind of Soundgarden on that. Well, a little bit. I can hear where you're coming from on that. I think it's far more, because Soundgarden had that rawness to them, right? Where you never quite knew, like it felt like the songs could come unhinged and fall apart at any moment, but you knew they wouldn't. It was nice in your sound holes. This is definitely a lot more palatable for, I think, a lot of people that don't listen to harsh, extreme music. A lot more palatable, for sure. And this is something you would probably hear on, like terrestrial rock radio, right? Something more that the radio would play on the airwaves. Like, yeah, totally. Where the first song is more like what I'm expecting. That's Sepultura to me. This is definitely different, and I would be interested to hear. Well, we're going to hear two more. There's two more tracks. It would have been interesting to hear a full, like, sung Sepultura album. 2 songs in, and I'm digging it. I'm going to be jamming this one. Okay, so the next one is Sacred Books, is the next song. Well, let's start it over for you guys. It's fucking OBS, of course. This is fucking Sepultura right here. I almost just want to start it over again. That when that drop hits with the fucking vocals, God, that's fucking good. Fuck it. I know it's the third time I've heard this. We're gonna listen to it again. This time, listen to those drums, man. They're fucking great. What's with the classical piano coming in? Like, it goes from this really, like, weird guitar, I guess you could call it a solo, to like a grand piano playing beneath this these riffs. This song is wild. That was the weirdest breakdown of, like, it goes from a guitar, sort of a guitar solo, I guess, to an entire grand piano solo. This is what I'm talking about in like, post Cavalera Brothers Sepultura, and I feel like we've talked about this divide so much that after we're done with this EP, I'm gonna play you guys at least one or two tracks of old school Sepultura so you guys can hear the difference. But like, this is the kind of experimentation and proggy kind of like eccentricities that they've kind of introduced into this band that just never was there before. Like, who thinks of a real groove, heavy metal, hard fucking song having a grand piano solo in the middle of it? That shit was fucking wild. Let's go back a little bit. God, it's so good. Okay. I want to hear that breakdown again, because that was weird. I don't know if I really liked that. I think I need to hear it again, because it totally like changes the tempo, it totally changes the groove, it totally changes everything. But if I'm gonna say anything from that, my first like hear of that is like I liked that it felt like it was gonna fall apart, but they brought it back together. But at the same time, I don't know, man. You got such a hot groove going on that just seemed to be like, well, let's just let Grayson kind of like fuck around for a little bit. It feels off. Oh God, like the beginning of it, it feels like that kind of like jazz where it's like just chaos and it feels like nothing is working together at all, and then it kind of comes together. It's that the first few bars of it feel like he's not even like the kick drum beat, nothing about it is like on at all. Let's try this again. Yeah, right through here. See, I like this part. That song might be my favorite one so far. Here, we're gonna hold on. Okay, there we go. That song might be my favorite one so far. Like, I really liked the first song a lot. I think it's a hell of a way to start the album. And that second song, while I liked it, definitely isn't my flavor of Sepultura, and I don't know how much I'll be going back to that song. I think if I'm listening to this as a whole, obviously I'll listen to it, but it's not like gonna go on any playlists. That's for sure. But that song, Sacred Books, fuck, that shit's hot. That was a really good fucking track, and I'm definitely gonna be listening to that one again. Here's the last one. Here's the very final, supposedly, the very final Sepultura song that we're gonna get. I hope it's worth it. 5 minutes and 58 seconds, guys. What did you guys, before we get into this, what did you guys think of that last song? I know this is all kind of like without context, new to you guys, but it seemed like you guys dug this one. What did you guys think of Sacred Books? You like that one a lot? Yeah, I like that one too. I have a feeling if you liked that one, Cariosa, you would like old school Sepultura, for sure. Because it definitely had the vibe of like the end of the Cavalera Brothers run with Chaos AD and Roots. For sure. It had that feel to it. Like all kinds of stuff? Well, I'm glad we're here. I would like to before we get into this last track, I definitely would like to make this more of a staple, where we're sitting and just like checking out some new stuff and listening. Because I mean, every Friday is like New Music Friday. This would be a good excuse for me to sit and like actually listen to these albums that keep stacking up on my Apple Music. And this one was an easy one today because it was only four songs. So it's not a big thing. And it doesn't always have to be metal, right? I know I listen to a lot of metal, but I listen to just about anything. So I'm up for like recommends, guys, and maybe on the Discord we could have a page on the music page for recommends for these streams for us to do. The only new music you keep up with is rap because of your husband. Is that primarily what he listens to, Cariosa? I listen to all across the board, but metal is definitely where my heart lies. So, okay, let's get to it. Final piece of Sepultura we're ever going to hear, supposedly. The Place. What up, Omar? Welcome in, dude. That bass tone is so filthy. That bass tone is so filthy when that kicks in. Listen to that shit. It's so good. Fuck, that's good. The build. This is again like the second song. It's weird how they've structured this album because it's like heavy song, slower mid tempo, more melodic song, heavy song, again slower mid tempo, melodic song. Really weird, but really great fucking build. Really great fucking build. I love it. This is so good so far. Some more clean vocals. Those drums are so crisp. They got such crack to them. Like the mixing of this album has been really good. You can just hear fucking everything in it. The way a lot of extreme music kind of gets a little compressy at times, and there's a lot of like similar frequencies that are just competing against each other. And it sometimes in that when you're trying to mix those records, it becomes a battle of like spatially where do you put instruments and how do you differentiate guitars between each other and that bass where I sometimes filthy dirty bass like that kind of gets lost in the mix. But for some reason, this is like they did such a good job. And those drums, man, God, they're crisp. Like these four songs, really well mixed record. Really well mixed record. I love it. Let's go back a little bit, get into that vocal. God, this is so good. Like, I'm so happy that this final record is just them just showcasing what Sepultura has been about all these years. And I've loved every one of these songs. Is this new Sepultura? I mean, this is the new record that just came out today. And if you're talking about new Sepultura as if it's like tied to like the new metal movement, there are moments in here that kind of sound like that. Obviously, Sacred Books, the last song, was definitely along the lines of, you know, Roots era, Chaos AD Roots era Sepultura, where that new metal shit was kind of going on. This is definitely kind of like every song that has led up to this point in this album. This is the song where it all is like thrown into the mix all at once. So cool song so far. I really like this one. I like this one a lot better than that second song. Like, that second song was a little too radio friendly for me with the crooning and everything. And this one, I'm kind of digging it. We're already halfway through it. Yes.
The dream is just a fantasy. They wanted you to believe this place was meant for you and me. Well, you forgot we're from the same blood. Why don't you respect me?
Derek Green, I know a lot of people that are Sepultura fans will always be diehard Cavalera, that voice, whatever, but I think Derek Green has a great scream on him, and his harsh vocals are really fucking nice. I've always liked Derek Green. Didn't a bunch of them leave years ago? Yeah. The Cavalera brothers left after Roots, and it's been a completely different band, but Andreas Kisser kind of forged on and made a new band, basically using the Sepultura name. So there's like some of the heart of the band is still there, but for the most part, he's the only original member, I believe, that's a part of this, because I don't even think the bass player, I'd have to look back. I don't believe the bass player is the same bass player they've had forever. I'd have to look into it. I don't remember.
I deserve some dignity. We both had the same ideas. Now it's a fucking contradiction. I told myself you're not the one. Prove to myself.
Not so much into this part. This feels kind of like neutered blah metal to me. Let's go back a little bit here. There was some weird like time stuff, and I didn't know if it was the track skipping, like I was having some bandwidth issues or whatever, but let's listen to that again.
We both had the same ideas. Now it's a fucking contradiction.
Nope.
Prove to myself I won't be shy.
Oh, that's nice.
It's just a girl you want to be. Deep inside of me, you're not the one. Feel the betrayal. Let's break a lie. I've told myself you're not the one. Prove to myself this can be cured.
I like that riff.
It's just because so many people who need to start again.
This is the second half of this song's kind of like falling off for me a little bit. Like that's a good riff. I like that riff, but it almost is like it feels kind of butt rocky to me. Maybe I'm being a little too harsh on it. Like I'm not. I you know I have to listen to this again. was watching my neighbor change a tire earlier, and I'm imagining this was his internal monologue when he dropped the truck off the jack. I'm not the one. He yelled, "God damn it." Maybe this is the song for that guy, The Place. Maybe The Place is a song for that guy that's changing his tire and the car falls off the jack. That's fucking good.
It's just because so many people who need to start again. You're not the one, feel the betrayal. Let's bring alive.
Oh, here we go. That was it. The Place. Yeah, I agree with you completely. Like, toward the end there, once it hit kind of like the middle point of the song, it kind of fell off for me. I really liked the build, and I liked the beginning. It was a little more with the clean vocals and whatnot, and I liked when it went into the harsh vocals. But then just like the writing kind of got stale a little bit. It felt a little simple, where some of those hotter riffs were nice, and there were some interesting things going on with the drums. But yeah, I don't know. For me, for like my final opinion on this, because as an old school Sepultura fan, like, cool record. Like, I'll be listening to this for sure. This is going to go on rotation for sure. But song number 1 and song number 3, those are the songs for me. Song number 2 is okay. And this one, I don't know. Like, I think I'm going to have to let it spin a few more times. I bet you I'll end up really digging it. There was some really cool shit when it started. And that's how, for me, especially with bands that I really admire and I really like a lot, I'm going to spin this thing half dozen times before I finally decide if it's going to be something I'm going to really, like, dig into and keep in rotation. But as of right now, I don't know, man. You can never judge on the first. It's hard, and that's why, you know, like, reactionary content and people sitting in, like, giving final reviews in a first time listen is, I don't think it's fair towards not only yourself, because you should allow, music isn't something that's, at least to me, is that disposable. It all means something to all of us, right? So I want to give it more time, because I obviously like it. I think this is good. I think at worst, I would label this a 7 out of 10. At best, right now, I'd give it about an 8. That's how much I liked it. It was 4 songs. How can you get really that, like, up in arms about it? It's 4 fucking songs. Out of the 4 songs, you got 2 bangers. You got 2 absolute fucking shredders. And then you got 2 kind of like mid-card, mid-tier. Yeah, it's an EP. So it is what it is, right? You can't get too down on it, especially on EPs. EPs are for experimenting. EPs are for, kind of like, well, here's some stuff that it's not a full-fledged record or concept. Here's just a few cool songs that we wrote. And sometimes EPs can be full concepts, right? Where this is just like a mini statement of some stuff, but this just seemed like 4 cool tunes. It's a good call, especially when listening to an album. The more you hear all the tunes, they grow on you. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's how I always feel about all music, is that, because this has happened to me so many times in the past, is that I will have a band that I really like, and I'll listen to a record and it doesn't hit my expectations of what it should. What I was expecting when I was going into it, listening to it. But then as I've given it more time, I've started to like it more and more and more and more. So it's hard to, like, for me, I don't like the idea of just like damning something on first listen, because I just don't think, one, that's not fair to the artist who put their blood, sweat, and tears into this. And if you've liked their other work, you should give them the respect to, like, hear it out and let the music kind of work on you a little bit, because obviously they didn't just sit down at the instruments and come up with it in 2 seconds, right? But 2, it's not fair to you. You're not really giving yourself a chance to kind of like expand what your expectations were, and you might end up liking something that you didn't before, but knee-jerk reaction told you, "Ugh, I don't like that. I got the ick," right? Like, I was getting some icks through that last song a little bit, but at the same time, I have a feeling once I listen to it a few more times, I'm going to probably be into it. Damn you, Sepultura, damn you! B-sides almost become better. I agree with that, Poppy. I agree with that a lot. So, for me, I'll give this, right now, 7.5, 8. But I have a feeling over time I'm going to end up, it's going to be a solid 8 for me. I really enjoyed it, but I'm also a big fan of Sepultura's old stuff and Sepultura's new stuff. So I'm not one of these Sepultura fans that just like damns all this new Derek Green stuff, man. That don't always work. My husband has listened to 1 billion hours of Honeycomb Brazy, and I still hate him? Well, hey, let's be fair, Cariosa. 1, I don't know who the fuck that is. And 2, some genres of music just aren't going to do it for you. You know what I mean? I'm a big fan of the Dead Milkmen, and Punk Rock Girl is one of their worst songs. Hey, not all bands are 100% infallible, right? Bands will make shitters. They'll make duds. It's bound to happen. I don't think this is a dud. By any means. By any means. So there we go. We listened to it. We did the thing. Like so much rap music, just not that little fucker. Is that rap? Yeah, I have no idea who Honeycomb Brazy is. I have no idea. Again, if you guys want me to react and listen to more music on these Fridays, I kind of like this. This is kind of cool. We should do more of this. Go to the Discord and let's in the music category just label it as reaction or listening recommend, and we'll put albums on there. Or if you want to just do a song, we could just do a song. But let's put it over there, and we'll make Fridays this thing. Otherwise, I'm just gonna bring some new music that I haven't listened to, and we'll do it here. I'm more of a Herbie Hancock dude. I fucking love the Headhunters, man. Fucking Herbie Hancock and the Headhunters, that shit is fucking dope.